I'm going to kill something. I can't say what it is because then I'll be investigated. Okay, up next. Hillary Clinton may want to play a role in next year's midterms. Is this good news for Republicans or is it great news? See? Like acid reflux after that Chipotle burrito, Hillary keeps coming back up. According to the Hill newspaper, Hillary Clinton wants to play a role in next year's midterm election, but it's not clear what that role would be. I'm guessing she's going to help them lose. Because when all else fails, why not help lose too? The article goes on to say that Hillary, quote, is looking at the House districts she won in last year's presidential contest against Donald Trump as part of an autopsy of her failed campaign. Yes. Let's take a look at the election results by congressional district, and remember, Hillary won everything in blue. I haven't seen that much red since I got pink eye in that hostel. Amsterdam. 94. The Democrats have a problem. They can't get past their past. The party of progress now does nothing but regress. No new stars, no new ideas. It's like their brains are constipated. If only there were a drug for that.
Are you living in the past and can't move on? Do you sit and dream of the days when Obama was president and struggle to come up with any new ideas for the future other than writing fan mail to Hillary? Then you need Demolax, the drug that lets you past the past. Demolax works by relaxing the receptors of your brain, allowing you to overcome mindset blockages. Why suffer like this any longer?
I haven't had a new idea in 3 days.
I used to have a solid thought every morning, but now I just sit there for 45 minutes, and all I can think about is Hillary.
Rid yourself of mind constipation and look forward to a fresh start.
Since taking Demolax, all I can do is think about the future. I'm having new ideas every day.
Talk to your doctor today about Demolax. Side effects may include having a direction for your party, election victories, and promising solutions.
All right, Mark, should Hillary retire and let someone else in the party shine? Or, I mean, they can't be happy to have her linger.
No, I think Hillary 2020, third time's the charm. I like two things about Hillary. I like when she dances. If you've seen on stage when they play some groovy music that the young people are into, and she starts...
I like that.
Grooving along. I like do the hill. I think that's good. And I like when Hillary tells jokes and she does that bobble-headed movement. She's like that when she tells jokes. And I just feel if they had a campaign manager who had Hillary just dancing and joke telling, Hillary 2020, third time's the charm. It's the way to go.
She always telegraphs a punchline. She goes, and then she goes like, that joke!
Yeah.
It's so much fun. All right, Shannon. Should she run for office again? Should a Clinton run for office?
Well, it may be Chelsea. We don't know if she may deputize her.
Maybe Chelsea's a great bumper sticker with a question. Maybe Chelsea?
Maybe Chelsea? Question mark? Don't ever count out Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
I do not rule out, because you remember she has many scores to settle, because she has explained to all of us the reasons why she lost, including Netflix, the New York Times, President Obama having 2 terms, hackers in Macedonia, Vladimir Putin, James Comey. I mean, she's got a lot of scores to settle, so I would not rule her out because she has listed all of the things that she needs to avenge. And maybe she could do that in 2020.
Yeah, she's not going to get the drop on those Macedonians. I mean, they're Macedonian content farmers. If you've ever seen a Macedonian content farm, you'd know
she's got a beat on them. She's on it.
Yeah, I don't think so. Tyrus, what kind of message do the Democrats need to get back to? Because right now...
Message?
Yeah.
Message?
Yes.
Don't blame us. Blame her.
I don't know if that's going to work. Kat, is there anybody that could fill the current void? that they seem to have?
Well, they should start thinking about it, right?
Yes.
They don't seem to be thinking about it. All they're trying to do is attack Donald Trump. Kid Rock is running for Senate in my home state of Michigan. People are very excited. Elizabeth Warren comes out and saying, he's like the next Trump. Really? You're going with that again?
Yeah.
How many times do you have to lose with the same strategy before you're like, maybe this is making us lose?
Yes.
And you know, Kid Rock would probably be kind of fun dude to hang out with. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
I would love to hang out with Kid Rock. Hillary
I can
Clinton,
make that happen.
Oh, Hillary Clinton probably not so much. And if the Democrats knew what was good for them, they would look at this little pack and try to start their own little pack to keep her in the woods and out of influencing anything, because she makes things go bad for them.
A wood pack. I think what the Dems should learn from Donald Trump is he won. It was a reaction against identity politics, so get away from that. Again, it was a reaction against a monolithic media. There's that, and also law enforcement. That he was pro law enforcement, and because all those things plague the Democratic Party. These were seen as anti-law enforcement, pro-identity politics, and pro-monolithic media.
Plus, she just whined at the end about how mean he was to her. Who would want to listen to that from a president, to just stand up there every time she gives a speech, instead of leading the country, she just says, you guys are really mean, and things are hard for me, even though I'm very, very rich, and I've had every chance in the world to keep blowing it. Wow, wow, wow. Come on, go away.
All right. On that note, we're going to go away for 2 minutes. Up next, campus word police take drastic measures against a law professor. And later, the senator from New Kansas has some questions for the guy who may run the FBI. Yay.
Live from America's News headquarters, I'm Robert Gray. Former President Obama's Library Foundation is flush with cash. While the president was in office, the foundation banned corporate donations. That and other restrictions were tossed once he left office. At least 8 donors, including Microsoft and Exelon, have contributed more than $1 million. That's according to recent financial disclosures. Total cost of the library is about $500 million. Former FBI Director James Comey is writing a memoir. The New York Times reporting that the book will focus on the principles that have guided Comey during his long career in public service. It's expected to fetch a large book advance. The Times also reporting that Comey has been in New York this week, meeting with editors and publishers. The president fired Comey in May. I'm Robert Gray. Now back to the Greg Gutfeld Show.
The punishment is taxing for a question about waxing. A law professor at Howard University is now being labeled a sexual harasser because of the content of a question he put on an exam. The question detailed a hypothetical situation in which a customer at a salon claims she fell asleep during a Brazilian wax and was touched inappropriately. 2 of Professor Reginald L. Robinson's students complained about the question, which led to a 15-month investigation. Howard University took objection to a word in the test question. Now, be warned, I'm about to say this objectionable word. Please cover your ears if you're easily disturbed. Howard University took objection to the word genitals and sentenced the professor to sensitivity training. Now, I'm no Esquire, but I'm pretty sure during the course of any lawyer's career, they hear words a lot worse than that one. And then some of them have to actually study crime scenes. That's a lawyer's job. If they can't handle that, they can't be my lawyer. Watch something fun like this instead. Clearly, that dog is guilty of cultural appropriation. Shannon, I think this is a huge story because it signifies a victory against speech by punishing a person for using words pertinent to their job. I mean, how can you go to med school if these words are going to be if you got to open up a cadaver? I mean, this is going to be a microaggression.
Well, first of all, if I read that test on one of my law school exams, which I did not, no one falls asleep during a Brazilian. So first of all, that's just completely unrealistic.
That was my exact
Mark, how do you know this?
That's not.
Mark's nodding. Yes, I know.
Yes.
No one nods off.
Believe
It's like,
me.
oh yes, I nodded off during a root canal. Like that's not happening. I was a sexual harassment attorney, not meaning that I sexually harassed people, but I was involved with those cases, and there is so much worse in the world. When I was in law school, I was just trying to survive semester to semester. I didn't have time to lodge complaints against professors like this, and if you're this delicate in law school, you're never going to survive.
No one's going to hire you.
In a courtroom, no, it's not going to work.
You know, and Mark, in Canada, they just passed a law that makes it a criminal offense if you use the wrong pronoun.
That's right.
So now they're forcing you to use words.
Yes, if you misgender a transitioning person,
you're screwed.
You're not sure. I hate all the safe spaces, the microaggressions, the triggering and all that. I do think it's a bit odd. I mean, there are words in this question that you cannot use on this. There are phrases in this question that we cannot use on this show.
Right.
And it seems to me a bit odd for a professor to put them in a legal question. So I don't think he should be, you know, deemed a sexual harasser and his career destroyed.
Yeah.
But to quote, and I believe this may be the first time this man has been mentioned on your show, the eminent 19th century, early 20th century English jurist Lord Moulton.
Of course, Moulton.
Yeah, well, Shannon's obviously Shannon's familiar with him as a legal analyst.
I wrote a paper on him.
He said the most important part of life is not what's legal or what's illegal. It's the 80% of life that's just in the realm of manners. And so we shouldn't have the idea that everything here is either legal or illegal. Either you get it right or you're deemed a sexual harasser. I do feel uncomfortable, not quite as uncomfortable as during that last Brazilian wax I had, but I do feel uncomfortable if it were my daughter being given a question about different types of Brazilian wax, which is what's at issue in this question.
Interesting. So that's unusual. So you're talking more from a manners rather than a legal standpoint.
Yes. It can't all be laws.
Yeah, but okay, let me ask. So, Kat, you work in publishing, in magazines. So do I. If I'm in a meeting and I'm dealing with like a layout of a pop star and we're talking about body parts or whatever like that, there could be somebody in that office that felt like I had microaggressed them by saying we need to do this or do that.
Yeah, and you would lose because now if you're offended, people automatically say you're right because they don't want to get sued, and that's basically what's been happening. But, you know, they were specifically offended, not by the descriptions of some, maybe, but by the word genitals, which I'm sorry I said it. It's in science books, okay? It's a word that if you're above the age of 3 or you have at least have a concept that it's going to play a role in your life.
Yeah.
You can be a human without thinking about the G word existing.
No.
And you can't be a lawyer. I mean, some people never shut up about it.
Is that what we meant to say, the G word?
And you can't be a lawyer without being able to handle the fact that there's sometimes people in the world who do bad things. Your job is dealing with people breaking laws or potentially breaking laws. That would be like being a police officer who's like, I'm scared of guns and vests. But I'm still gonna do it. Or at least I'm a germaphobe. I used to see any patients. I mean, maybe it's just not the job for you. There are approximately infinity other jobs. Feel free to choose one of those. Hey, come on.
Tyrus, let's say you're reading a script for a movie and the dialogue and the dialogue troubles you. What would happen if you went to the screenwriter or the director and you go, you know, this line you have me saying, I know it's what the character would say, but I just don't feel comfortable. What would happen?
They would say, that's a great point, Tyrus. Very happy to do that. We'll change it immediately.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I walk out, they're like, get his big ass out of here.
Coming up, who's the better tipper, a Republican or a Democrat? I'll give you a hint. I've left a $100 bill under your TV right now.